This is going to be my presentation on EQ7, which is components of the BOE Bot. So the first component of the BOE Bot is the Arduino Uno module. This is the main brain of the robot. This is where all the information is taken in from sensors in the program and then is outputted to different parts of the circuit, which is different parts of the device like servo motors, infrared LEDs, infrared sensors, a bunch of other stuff wherever the electricity is needed. So this basically computes all the incoming data along with the program. So the first part is sensors. Well, what is the Arduino Uno module taking in? So it's taking in data from stuff like an infrared sensor. So this infrared LED will send out a pulse of infrared light, which we cannot see, and send it back to the infrared receiver. And the time it takes to go from the infrared LED to the infrared receiver can be used to calculate how far away the object is. Then you have the infrared LED where there's no object in front of it, so the LED light never comes back to the infrared receiver, so it computes that there's no object in the way. So this hopefully works. It really didn't work last year on some of the bots, but basically this is how it should work. So the LED stands for light emitting diode. So here on the part of it, this is the part of the LED that emits light. So this is the actual diode itself. So you have the N type and the P type. In the N type there is free electrons and they flow across the active region into the P type, which has holes for it. And as it does this, it emits light. And this is so simple that you can actually make LEDs insanely small. In fact, through the computer monitor you're watching this in, or whatever you're doing, however you're watching, is composed of millions, tens of millions of small LEDs of different colors and such. So you have this is where the diode is, and this emits light, and it emits a lot of light, not a lot of heat, which makes it really good for using a ton of them in a computer monitor. So servo motors are computer controlled motors, electric motors. So in this diagram you'll see you have a DC motor, direct current motor, a gear assembly that connects to a positioning sensing device, you have an amplifier, and this is all part of the control circuit, which also has a computer. So the way it works is this DC motor is spinning, it's also spinning the position sensing device, that sends it back to the amplifier, and the amplifier then sends a signal back to the computer. And the computer can then process the position and sensing device and make changes to it based off whatever program it has. So it will send off a different length of voltage, so a different voltage depending on when it wants the DC motor to change. So if it wants to spin faster, it might send off a longer voltage. And it sends to the amplifier. And the amplifier has the electrical power to send a signal to the DC motor to change its speed based on the inputted voltage, and it does the same thing for the computer to transfer data from the gear assembly to the computer. And this is used for really fine tasks like CNC machines, basically computer-aided manufacturing and robots. So batteries. So the batteries were basically mobile electricity. So the electrolyte is composed of acid, and acid wants to give away its electron. So the electrolyte has all this acid in it, and it gives off a negatively charged electron. So this flows out of the anode, flows through an electrical device like a light, and whatever is left, because you have to have a connection back to battery, or there's no incentive for the electricity to flow in the first place, it flows back to the anode. Now this diagram shows it going the other way, because it does not really matter which side it comes out as long as it goes back to the opposite side. In fact, America flows out of the cathode, while British batteries flow out of the anode. So this all creates a electrical, like a mobile storage device for electricity. So this is my presentation on the components of the BOE Bot.